Good evening and welcome to the Taft City Council meeting for September 3rd, 2013. This is, it's also a joint successor agency meeting. As usual, we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Ron Waldrop and an invocation by Dr. Kathy Horn.
Salute and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. What was that?
That's perfect. That was perfect. Thank you.
Oh, I meant him.
He's watching.
Yeah. Would you bow your heads with me, please? Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for the privilege we have of meeting together. We thank you for this country and the state and for our city. We ask you to be with us. We ask that the decisions made tonight will be good decisions. We ask your blessings upon the proceedings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Yes. Yes.
Doctor of Theology.
Very good.
Not
We'll have to
bad.
get her more often.
Yes. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, Kathy. May we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Linder.
Here.
Councilmember Pryor.
Here.
Councilmember Miller.
Here.
Councilmember North.
Here.
Councilmember Waldrop.
You hear?
Thank you very much. First item on the agenda tonight is a public hearing, a zoning ordinance amendment relating to recreational vehicle parks. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Taft is currently deficient with regard to short-term residential facilities such as hotels, motels, and recreational vehicle parks. City Council has directed city staff to review the zoning ordinance and recommend an amendment for recreational vehicle parks. Currently, recreational vehicle parks are only permitted within agricultural A zones. The only A zone properties within the city are located along the eastern boundary adjacent to the California Aqueduct and contain the Taft Federal Correctional Institute. The council would like to see more opportunities for recreational vehicle parks closer to the central part of the city and nearer to rails to trails. At the July 17, 2013 Planning Commission meeting, city staff presented a draft amendment to the zoning ordinance regarding recreational vehicle parks. The commissioners provided direction to staff to address utility hookups, extend the maximum residency stay to 180 days, and provide flexibility with regard to walls, fencing, and screening along street frontages. At the August 7th, 2013 Planning Commission meeting, city staff presented the final draft of the amendment to the zoning ordinance regarding recreational vehicle parks, which the commission approved unanimously with no further additions or deletions.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. At this time, I will open a public hearing, and I would invite anyone wishing to speak in favor of or against this ordinance to please come forward. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and I would entertain a motion to approve and amend the City of Taft zoning ordinance entitled an ordinance, the City Council of the City of Taft amending Chapters 5 and 12 of Title 6 of the City of Taft zoning ordinance related to recreational vehicle parks for first reading only, title only, and the reading of the ordinance to be waived.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Noor, comment.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is something that the City of Taft has known that we've needed for quite some time. It was a matter of the right place to put it. Where we're going to put it so that it works well for our community as well as to entice the people who come here and stay here, however temporary they might, to check out the charms of the City of Taft. And I believe we have found the right place for it. And I am looking forward to seeing this go in and having the capability of so many people who have nice RVs these days to be able to come here and spend time in our community. I believe it makes great sense. It's something we've needed for quite some time, so I'll support it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Cryer.
I concur, and there's so many opportunities here. As the years are going by, we have more and more activities, with Oil Draw coming up, Oktoberfest, and all the going on we're having here recently. There's no place for people to come out of town to enjoy our activities, and also to enjoy the outdoors at the Carrizo Plains. And so it is a long overdue to have an RV park. I know it's been discussed quite a few times in the past, but now it's going to be a reality, so I'm all for it.
Thank you. Mr. Miller?
I have really no further comment other than that it's something that we've needed for a long time. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Waldron?
It's something that is in the stage of dominoes, that when we get this, we get that, and so on, and I think it's a very good idea, and sorry I didn't think of it first.
Thank you, and I concur with everybody's comments. So may we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Pryor,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldrop,
Yes.
Councilmember North,
Yes.
Mayor Linder.
Yes, thank you. Next item is citizens' request for public comments. We didn't have any? Okay, we'll move on to council statements and non-action. Mr. Noor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just ever so briefly, if one wonders about the wisdom behind developing the energy resources in the United States of America, one need only take a look at how unstable all the other large producing areas seem to be. Think back, not everybody was around, but I remember buying gas every other day when I was a kid during the Arab oil embargo. A lot of people don't remember that, but a few people are shaking their heads. And we thought we were going to run out of oil back then. That was a rumor, the Arab oil embargo. And think back to what happened post 9/11, when we learned our lessons, that we had to take care of our borders. We had to be cognizant of what was going on, but developing our own energy resources was going to be one of the key things we had to do to protect the United States of America. We had forgotten that. And now, just look around. Just a little bit of stuff happening overseas in a country that really doesn't produce that much oil has a large impact on the world oil market. Impulse buying of futures, destabilizing some financial markets, all of it makes no sense. But what does make a great deal of sense is the development, the responsible development of clean energy in the United States of America. I have read studies, and nobody overseas does it better than we do it. We have the technology, we have the resources available, and we can responsibly extract hydrocarbons, whether they're in form of fluids or gas, and we can refine these things and turn them into a usable product, all the while taking care of the environment better than anybody else can in the globe. There's only one ozone out there, folks. We end up breathing it at some point in time or the other. So you needn't look far to understand why it's so important that we exercise the capability and the responsibility to extract our own hydrocarbons. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Cryer?
Thank you, Mayor. Yesterday being Labor Day, I went to work like normal, and after work, I went to a nice barbecue at St. Mary's Church, Labor Day barbecue. It was excellent, and I was there earlier in the morning, but I saw David and Matt Borrego, Rick Southworth, Cal Vaughn, and Randy Miller, our councilman here, out there barbecuing in the hot weather, sweating. What were you drinking out there? Was it really water?
All water.
Oh, it was all water.
It was all water.
Yeah, it was all water. But they had a tri-tip and chicken. That chicken was excellent. You know, I had to buy a few afterwards. I enjoyed it so much, but it was a really great barbecue. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. Another thing too is, you know, in Kern County we've had 26 pedestrian deaths so far in Bakersfield. A sad note. And I observed 3 instances here in Taft. One, I saw a lady with 2 kids jaywalking across the road. Cars coming. She had to pick up one. They're a little taller, probably gotta be older than 3 years old, and maybe 1 year old, and the other one dragging, getting across the road real quick. You know, taking chances like that. And then also, I was seeing people going across on the crosswalk without even looking. They just from the sidewalk on across the road and in the traffic. And yes, you have a right of way in crosswalks. You know, you value our life. You might want to look both ways, just in case somebody's not attentive or can't see you, or especially a different type of clothing, because you could be a fatality. Yeah, you'll win in court, but it doesn't do any good if you're injured or worse. And we've got to make sure our children are not preoccupied with their cell phones or any of their devices and stuff, because life is so short and precious, and be careful on that note. But that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Waldron?
Let everybody know that the flag that Councilman sitting next to Councilman Noor bought is up. New cable. The lock mechanism was moved up higher, so they have to have a ladder to get to it at the Taft Veterans. And they need to be careful because they're going to be on TV. And I, too, would like to mention to everybody, we've had some pretty nasty wrecks here in the last few days. We need to drive defensive and watch the other guy. It's sad deals. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Walden. Mr. Miller?
Yeah. Speaking of traffic, kids are back in school. They pour out of those schools and come up 6th Street. Those kids do not look when they're crossing the street. You've got to be really vigilant between 2:30 and 3:30 because those kids are everywhere, and we just don't want anything to happen. So you can't trust those kids. So just when you're driving down the street, just make sure as you come to those crosswalks, just slow down. We don't want a tragedy inside the city limits here. State legislature has got maybe 2 weeks left, and God knows what they're going to do to us in the next 2 weeks and what's going to be on the governor's desk to sign. Just like the transgender bill that went through that apparently nobody protested. A lot of people are upset about it now, but now it's too late. Now it's law, and it's signed by the governor. Now they're talking about giving voting rights and jury duty and other things to undocumented aliens in the United States. I don't know. It's just crazy. There's another thing for people who own rifles with magazines, that they want to ban rifles that have a bullet button. Well, I'm under the impression that a bullet button was put on to make it a little harder to replace it. You have a button normally you push and a magazine falls out and put another magazine in. Well, bullet button replaces that button, and you have to go find a sharp object. Well, typically it's a bullet. You have to push it in there to get the magazine. It makes it tougher to change those magazines. Well, these idiots up there have no idea about a bullet button, but it sounds nasty. Well, if they would have called it a pin button or a pencil button or a nail button or something, it would probably been a better deal, but happened to call it a bullet button. And so they're coming through to ban rifles that have a bullet button on it. Well, do they think that those rifles are going to disappear, or just that people are going to go, oh, okay, well, I'm going to come down and turn them in? They're all going to go underground. I mean, and then their idea of banning this is that people who own those rifles, when they the house gets broken into, the criminals won't have those rifles to find. So that will stop crime somehow or another. It's just crazy. So just look out for the next 2 weeks, see what happens. Who knows what this legislature is going to do to us. One other thing, I was reading that the Air Pollution District Board out of Fresno that covers the 8 counties in the valley are doing a study, but are really coming to find out that about 20% of our smog problems is coming from China. So it's coming, I don't know how many miles that is, but it's a couple miles. Their smog is so bad that it's traveling all the way over, coming down through the northern California and into the valley, and contributing to almost 20% of our smog problems here. Well, as Mr. Noor was referring to in regards to the oil industry and stuff, we're so regulated on environmental laws and smog and pollution and all those kinds of things, where every other country in the world does not have 1/100th of the rules and regulations that we have to live by. And now we as Americans are being blamed for global warming and all these other kinds of things, when in fact it's the other countries that are causing it. We're doing our job here, nobody else is doing their job there. So anyway, just see what our state legislature, and we have no idea what they're going to do to us as cities. Unfortunately, we're having a real issue with the state. They can't make up their mind about the use of the CCF here or not, and so we're just sitting and waiting. We have no new news, and hopefully, if it does wind up, maybe the governor will be put in jail and he can't sign any bills, so maybe that'll be a good news. So that's all I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I just wanted to reiterate that our thoughts go out to those families that were affected by those tragic accidents that happened here on the west side over the weekend. We wish them, healing if possible, and those that were injured, I hope they also recover soon. On a particularly personal note, I just wanted to mention that a good friend of mine, Frank Wilson, passed away late last week. Mr. Wilson has been a lifetime resident of Taft. His father, his brother, and himself operated Wilson's Van and Storage in many years ago. Most of us don't even remember that, but Frank went on to work for the public school system for a while. He was a partner in building and operating the Caprice Motel in its early infancy. And my heart goes out to his wife Evelyn and his two daughters Denny and Leslie, and may they find peace. Frank was also a veteran, and he'll be buried at the National Cemetery outside of Bakersfield. And so my hat's off to a long, good friend that taught me many things in life, because I got to work with him for about 10 years. So some of them I can't mention, but the rest were good quality life issues. So rest in peace, Frank Wilson. And we will move on now to department reports. Any department reports today? Nope, seeing none. How about city manager statements?
Thank you, Mayor. I was able to attend the Independent Oil Producers Association meeting Friday, and there was a presentation put on by the Director of Planning and Community Development of Kern County, Lorelei Oviatt. I hope that's right. And there's an amendment going before the Board of Supervisors on a zoning ordinance focused on the oil and gas production here in Kern County, and what this could mean to our local oil fields is a simplified permitting process for new exploration of wells. And there's a meeting, a local scoping meeting. It'll be held at the Taft Veterans Hall in Ford City on September 18th at 6:30 p.m. It's one of 4 meetings, and they will be soliciting comments to this amendment. So they asked if any of our electeds would be interested in coming, hopefully supporting this, as it could be a boon to the local economy if we put the County of Kern in charge of permitting these drilling wells instead of the state, because it is in our backyard and we know our environment more or better than anybody, I should say. Not to say it probably won't be challenged by our usual bunch of characters, the Sierra Club and all those guys, but the county puts up a good fight, so they're ready for one. And the groups that are involved with this, the oil groups, SIPA, WISPA, IOPA, they're helping out with for the consultants and stuff. So it's pretty exciting news, and I was able to learn a few things, other things while I was there, and it's pretty fun. So. And my thoughts and condolences go out to those who lost their loved ones as well on our local highways this holiday weekend. It was a pretty tragic one. It was sad. Thank you.
Mr. Jones, regarding this meeting, is there anything else we can do as far as did we do some sort of a resolution?
Well, this is basically the CEQA process, and they're going through the, where you receive comments, and positive comments are always welcomed, but people are also there to address their concerns and make sure that their concerns are addressed. But at this time, the county nor any of our oil producers have asked for any resolutions or anything.
Well, I know-
positive comments on record for the CEQA document would probably be welcomed.
Absolutely. I know Councilmember Cryer and myself will be out of town at the League of Cities Conference.
Okay.
And so I would encourage or
Well, I'm trying to plug it in right now.
Okay.
Hopefully, I'll be there.
maybe Dave, Ron, and Randy, if you guys can be there, and maybe staff have somebody there, that would be wonderful.
I'd be happy to be there.
Yeah, I don't know, I might be, I think I'm.
San Diego.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right,
I'll
you're going to be
gone too,
south, so.
So we need some oil ambassadors.
Can we tell them to move the meeting to Tuesday?
Well, we can go to other meetings. There's
Yeah, that's true.
the 16th, the 23rd, 25th, that they're in Shafter, Kern County Board of Supervisor meeting, or chamber room, and Lost Hills Recreation Building.
Okay.
And any information on this, you can get on the county's website under Planning Department. It has hundreds of pages of documents to review, if anyone's interested.
Well, if you hear anything that we can do as far as either submitting comments or resolution, please let us know, and
I sure will.
we'll take that action. Was that everything?
That's all I got.
All right, thank you. Thanks. City Attorney statements.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have nothing this evening.
Thank you, sir. Item number 7 is future agenda requests. Gentlemen, do you have any requests for future agendas?
None this evening, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Seeing none, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Items 8 through 13. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the City Council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after the regular business items. Are there any items that you gentlemen would request to have pulled?
I would like to have item number 9 pulled from the consent calendar, please.
All right. Any others, gentlemen? All right, then I would we're talking now about items 8, 10, and 10 through 13. Item 8 is the minutes of the August 20th regular meeting. Number 10, is approved purchase of a I practiced this too. A spectrophotometer or photometer or whatever.
Time machine.
It's a time machine?
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. Then I can go back 15 minutes and practice this word
Yeah,
again.
you can go back to your English class.
A spectrometer for federal wastewater treatment plant. You don't want to know what that thing's looking at, trust me. Item number 11 is contract extension for interim director of planning and development services. Item number 12, funding to the Taft Chamber of Commerce for the quarter of January 2013 to March 2013. Item number 13 is funding to the Taft Chamber of Commerce for the quarter of April 2013 to June 2013, And item number 14 is proposals received from RFP for transit occupant.
Nope, that's not.
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize, that's the end. So, we're talking about items 8, 10, 11, 12, and 13. I need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Cryer,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Norn,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldrop,
Yes.
Mayor Linder.
Yes, thank you. And now we will go back to item number 9, which is a resolution endorsing the Hydrogen Energy California, or HECA, project in western Kern County. Mr. Jones?
You'd just like me to read the resolution?
Yes.
Actually, I wanted to
Actually,
read the resolution, so that's exactly
Sounds
why I
good.
pulled it. I thought it was
Perfect.
worth reading.
Perfect, go ahead, Mr. Norn.
All right, well, thank you very much. I felt it was important that the people understand what this resolution is and what it says, because this project is very important to the local economy, very important to the people of the west side, the city of Taft, as well as everybody. We spoke, and I spoke briefly about responsible energy development, and this project is going to be one of those. It's a poster child for that. So I want to read this resolution. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft endorsing the Hydrogen Energy California project in western Kern County. Whereas officials of the City of Taft consider the Hydrogen Energy California project a flagship, leading alternative energy project in western Kern County that will make a difference. And whereas officials of the City of Taft consider the Hydrogen Energy California project to provide enormous economic stimulus through new construction, permanent and energy-related vendor servicing jobs in Kern County and throughout the City of Taft. And whereas officials of the City of Taft believe that the enhanced oil recovery process will further stimulate the economy in the City of Taft and the rest of Kern County by recovering additional oil from nearby oil fields. And whereas officials of the City of Taft believe that Kern County's vast agricultural industry will benefit from Hydrogen Energy California's production of over 1 million tons of low-carbon fertilizer products each year, making it easier to purchase in Kern County and reduce transportation impacts and air pollution. And whereas officials of the City of Taft believe that it is in the best interest of its citizens to endorse said project. Now therefore let it be resolved that the City Council of the City of Taft hereby endorses Hydrogen Energy California project, and it will be signed by the mayor of the City of Taft. So, thank you very much. Mr. Ed Western is here representing the fine folks from this project, and I think I told you all that if I had $1 bazillion and what I wanted to do was make money in the energy market responsibly, I would hire that guy in a New York minute. I have worked at the plant that he built. I was there for the Golden Shovel arrangement many, many years ago. My hair was a different color, as I recall. But I have worked there for over 20 years, and it's as clean as neat as your back patio before you have a garden party, I assure you. So I'm a big believer in the man, I'm a big believer in the technology, and a big believer in the project, as is the City Council. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Knorr. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve a resolution entitled "A Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft Endorsing the Hydrogen Energy California, or HECA, project in western Kern County."
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Knorr, any further?
None additional. Thank you, Mr.
I'm not
Mayor.
sure who got the second, so I'll go to Mr. Waldrop. Any comments, sir?
No comments, is well said already.
Mr. Pryor?
No comment.
Mr. Miller?
I have no further comments. It's good.
I think the
good
resolution
project.
says it all. Thank you. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Pryor,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember Norr,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldrop,
Yes.
Mayor Linder.
Yes, thank you. Now we'll move on to item number 14, which is not on the consent calendar. And this is the proposals received from RFP for transit occupancy tax audit. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Taft posted an RFP for transit occupancy tax audit services on our website. And on the website, the California Society of Municipal Finance Officers. Along with these postings, the city had 7 requests by phone or email requesting a copy of the RFP. The deadline for receiving the proposals was August 21st, 2013. The city received 4 proposals and 1 letter declining to bid. These proposals are being presented to the full council for discussion, and city staff is recommending to contract with Tax Compliance Services. The 4 firms that submitted were Tax Compliance Services, Meyer Hoffman and McCann, Muni Services, and Larry Bain CPA and Accounting Corporation.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. The recommended action is to discuss the proposals that were received. Gentlemen, do you have any comments or regarding those proposals? All right, very good. Then we will move on to the second action, which is a motion to authorize the mayor to execute an agreement with Tax Compliance Services.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Knorr.
Well, we didn't discuss it before, but based on staff's recommendation, based on the price, what's included in the product, and the recommendation of staff, which have done background checks, basically, if you will, with people who have had experience with these folks, I would support staff's recommendation. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Cryer.
I was impressed with the resume they sent out, reading through all the documents and everything, and I'm surprised that the cost is really reasonable, what they're going to do, but I think it's a good choice.
Very good. Mr. Walder.
I have no comments, thank you.
Mr. Miller.
I don't know if it really came out. What we're doing here is that we're hiring an auditing firm to check with our local motels and hotels to make sure that they're in compliance with the TOT tax regulations and ordinances that we have in the city of Taft, and to make sure that they're fairly reporting the bed tax to the city. So we're setting up the procedures, and we'll work closely with these motels and hotels, but it's a good deal. So it's something that just takes too much staff time to do. So
I agree totally. Actually, when Mrs. Binkley sent me the information, I was out of town, and so reading this stuff on a BlackBerry, because I didn't even have internet, I just had my BlackBerry. But the one thing that, and I appreciate your recommendation, and I shared it with you, that the one thing that impressed me about tax compliance services was, yes, they will perform the audits, they'll do the work and everything, but they actually stated in a paragraph in there that they would also educate and train the folks out there running the hotels and motels on how to properly do it. We're not trying to trip anybody up here, but the truth of the matter is if a business collects a tax under the guise of a bed tax or total occupancy taxes, and they don't report that and they don't turn it in, that is a serious situation as far as I'm concerned, because you're charging a tax and that tax is doing nothing but going in pockets of the operators, the proprietors. So I think it's going to be a good thing that we have an outside agency doing it. They're willing to educate the folks that are operating these facilities, and hopefully they're not going to be too far out of compliance, but the city should see some increased revenue through the process. So I totally support it. So we have a motion and a second. I guess we need a roll call?
Councilmember Pryor,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Councilmember North,
Yes.
Councilmember Waldrop,
Yes.
Mayor Linder.
Yes, thank you. And at this time, the city council will go into closed session to have a conference with legal counsel. It's an existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9, paragraph A. Thank you very much for being here tonight, and we are adjourned to closed session.